What if the end of humanity isn't fire, war, or silence, but the pull of a dark abyss we cannot escape? What if the universe itself is writing our obituary in waves of invisible gravity? Chapter 1. The Silent Architects of Doom. Imagine standing under a night sky so clear that every star feels close enough to touch. To the naked eye, the universe looks calm, almost peaceful. Yet hidden among those distant lights are entities that rewrite the very rules of reality. Black holes. They are the most mysterious objects we know, and perhaps the most terrifying. Not because they roar, or explode, or blaze like stars, but because they are silent, and final. A black hole is not just an object. It is the end of a story. When a star much larger than our sun reaches the end of its life, gravity wins. The star collapses inward under its own weight, crushing itself until even light, the fastest thing in the universe, can no longer escape. What remains is a dark sphere, invisible, and yet immensely powerful. We call it a black hole, but the name hardly does justice. It is less a hole, and more a cosmic verdict. A one-way gate where time slows, matter vanishes, and all information dissolves. There is a strange beauty here. Black holes are perfectly symmetrical, elegant in their simplicity. To physicists, they are almost works of art, solutions to Einstein's equations drawn with absolute precision. Yet to the human mind, they are nightmares. They represent something we cannot control or bargain with. If you drift too close, you don't explode. You don't burn, you simply fall, endlessly, until reality itself erases you. That erasure sparks a deeper fear, because black holes are not just about stars, they are about us. If even light cannot survive, what chance does memory have? What chance does history have? What chance does civilization itself have? To think about black holes is to confront the possibility that everything we are, our songs, our languages, our stories, might mean nothing against the eternal hunger of the cosmos. Scientists once thought of black holes as rare, exotic monsters lurking at the edges of galaxies. Today we know better. They are everywhere. At the heart of almost every galaxy, including our own Milky Way, lies a supermassive black hole, millions, even billions, of times heavier than the Sun. Our home galaxy orbits around such a darkness. A reminder that destruction is not far away. It is central to the very architecture of the universe. Even more unsettling is the idea of primordial black holes. Tiny black holes that may have formed right after the Big Bang, when the universe was less than a second old. If they exist, some may be drifting through space right now, invisible but deadly. And some scientists suggest that within the next decade, we might even witness one explode in a final burst of radiation. Imagine that. The silent ending of an object billions of years old, flashing out its death cry across the cosmos. What does that say about time, about endurance, about survival? It is tempting to view black holes as villains in a cosmic story, but they are also architects. They shape galaxies, influence star formation, and may even hold clues to the origin of the universe itself. Without them, the night sky would not look the way it does. In a strange way, the very terror they inspire is also the reason we exist. The balance between creation and destruction is written into their nature, and still, the fear lingers, because black holes represent something we cannot avoid, the reality of endings. Human beings are storytellers. We like beginnings, middles, and sometimes even messy conflicts, but we shy away from endings. Endings feel like betrayal, like loss, like silence. Yet the universe is full of them. Every black hole is a reminder that endings are not optional. They are built into the structure of everything. Think about Voyager, the spacecraft humanity launched in the 1970s. It carries a golden record with sounds and images meant to tell the story of Earth, our greeting to the cosmos. But what happens if one day Voyager drifts too close to a black hole? Everything we placed on that record, our music, our hopes, our signatures, would vanish. Not in an explosion, not in fire, but in silence. That is the most haunting part of black holes. They don't just destroy matter, they erase meaning. There is a word philosophers use for this feeling: existential dread. It is the fear not just of dying, but of being forgotten, of being erased so completely that it's as if you never were. Black holes embody that dread. They are reminders that no matter how much we build, no matter how far we travel, the universe has ways of wiping the slate clean. And yet, paradoxically, they also remind us of how precious every moment is. Because if nothing lasts forever, then everything we do here and now carries weight. Look again at the night sky. Behind the glitter of stars lies a hidden truth. The universe is not gentle. It is not designed for our comfort. It is vast, cold, and indifferent. Black holes are the clearest evidence of that indifference. They don't care about beauty or love or art. They swallow all things equally. To them, a poem and a planet are the same. But here's the paradox. In confronting that indifference, we find meaning. We are the only species we know of that can even imagine a black hole, let alone understand it. We are fragile creatures, living on a fragile world, orbiting a fragile star, and yet, we can map the invisible. We can measure the weight of silence. We can turn fear into knowledge. That knowledge does not erase the dread, but it transforms it. A black hole might be a verdict, but it is also a challenge. It asks us, how will you live knowing the end is certain? What legacy will you send into the void, knowing it might never be found? What beauty will you create, even as the universe leans toward silence? So as we close this first chapter, hold on to this thought. Black holes are not just cosmic monsters, they are mirrors. They reflect our deepest fears back at us, and in that reflection, they reveal something profound, that we are temporary, that we are fragile, but also that we are aware, and perhaps awareness itself, the ability to look into the abyss and still speak, still create, still hope, is the most defiant act of all. Chapter 2: Gravitational Waves. The universe's ghostly lament-emotion, a silent night where nothing seems to move. The stars are still. The earth rotates unnoticed. Space feels calm, like an endless ocean without waves. But beneath that calm lies a deeper truth. Space is not still. Space itself can shudder, ripple, and sing with the echoes of disasters so violent that even light trembles. These echoes are called gravitational waves. To understand them, we need to return to Einstein. Over a century ago, he proposed that space and time are not separate, but part of the same fabric, space-time. Imagine that fabric as a stretched sheet. Place a ball on it, and the sheet bends. Place a larger ball, and the bend deepens. That is gravity, the way mass curves space-time. But here's the haunting part. When two massive objects collide, two stars, or two black holes, that fabric does not just bend. It ripples outward, like the surface of a pond struck by a stone. These ripples are gravitational waves. They travel across the cosmos at the speed of light. They do not carry sound, for space has no air. Instead, they carry a kind of memory, the memory of violence. Each wave is the dying cry of a star, the final scream of two black holes spiraling together until nothing remains but silence. Poets might say that gravitational waves are the universe's music, but the music is tragic. It is written in minor keys, in tones of collapse and annihilation. Think of it. When two neutron stars crash into each other, the impact releases more energy than all the stars in the galaxy combined. That moment is recorded not in light, but in ripples, faint and ghostly, stretching across billions of light years. By the time they reach us, they are so faint that they shift the distance between atoms by less than the width of a proton. And yet, we can hear them. In 2015, for the first time in history, humanity did just that. Scientists at LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, detected a ripple in space-time. It came from two black holes colliding over 1 billion years ago. Imagine that. Long before the first humans walked the Earth, long before mammals even appeared, two black holes in a distant galaxy embraced in their final spiral. The waves from that union traveled across the void, patiently, silently, until they touched our world. For the first time, we had proof. The universe is not mute. It speaks in waves. The instruments that captured this whisper are among the most delicate ever built. LIGO uses two enormous arms, kilometers long, with lasers bouncing back and forth. When a gravitational wave passes, it stretches one arm and squeezes the other. The change is unimaginably small, thousands of times smaller than the width of a proton, but enough to leave a signature. That signature is not just data. It is a story, a cosmic obituary written in space-time itself. Soon after, other detectors joined the chorus: Virgo in Italy, Kagra in Japan. Together, they created a network that listens to the universe's funerals, not with ears, but with patience, not with microphones, but with lasers. Humanity, fragile and small, built machines capable of catching the last breath of stars. And what have we heard? Mergers of black holes, each heavier than our sun. Collisions of neutron stars that spray gold and platinum into space. The very atoms we wear as jewelry. The very elements inside our blood. Every ring on a wedding finger, every fragment of electronics, owes its origin to a cosmic disaster. When we listen to gravitational waves, we are not just listening to the deaths of stars. We are listening to the birth of everything we hold dear. Yet there is something deeper, something unsettling. These waves are not just about physics, they are about memory. A star dies, but its final act is recorded forever in space-time. Long after the light fades, long after the debris cools, the wave continues. A whisper of existence, moving endlessly forward. Even if no one hears it, the ripple persists. In this way, gravitational waves may outlast humanity itself. Think about that. Our civilizations may rise and fall. Our languages may vanish. Our planet itself may burn when the sun reaches its end. And yet, somewhere out there, a wave carrying the echo of our galaxy's collisions will still be traveling. A ghostly lament that no one may ever hear, but which endures nonetheless. Here the philosophical question arises. Do these waves carry meaning, or are they simply chaos written into the void? From one view, they are nothing but physics space-time responding to gravity. No message, no purpose, just blind mechanics. Yet from another view, they are poetry. They are the screams of dying stars, written across the universe. They are proof that even endings create echoes, that nothing disappears without leaving a trace. This is where existential dread enters. Because if the universe remembers collisions of stars, what does it remember of us? Do our lives leave ripples? Do our actions, our choices, carry forward in ways we cannot see? Or are we too small to matter? Our stories lost in the static of infinity. Gravitational waves force us to confront our scale. Compared to a black hole merger, our entire history is a flicker. And yet, the very fact that we can ask these questions means we are not nothing. Scientists continue to refine their instruments. New detectors are planned. LISA, a space-based observatory with arms millions of kilometers long, drifting in orbit around the sun. It will be able to hear even lower frequencies, older waves, perhaps from the earliest moments after the Big Bang. If LIGO and Virgo let us hear the death of stars, LISA may let us hear the birth of time itself. Imagine listening to the universe's first heartbeat. What will we do with this knowledge? Perhaps nothing changes. Our daily lives will still be filled with work, love, loss, and laughter. But beneath all of it, we carry the awareness that we are listening to the universe's hidden symphony, that we are hearing events billions of years old, written across the very fabric of existence. Some may find comfort in this, that even in death, the cosmos sings. Others may find despair that the song is indifferent, without meaning, a soundtrack to oblivion. Both reactions are valid, both are human, because ultimately, gravitational waves do not tell us what to believe. They only remind us that the universe is vast, violent, and alive in ways we are only beginning to understand. So the next time you look at the stars, remember this: the silence is not real. Beneath the calm, space-time itself is trembling with the weight of cosmic tragedies. Every second, somewhere, stars are colliding, black holes are merging, Galaxies are reshaping, and the waves from those funerals are passing through you, right now, stretching and squeezing your very atoms. You cannot feel them, but they are there. The universe is touching you with the memory of its dead. That is the ghostly lament of gravitational waves. Not loud, not visible, but eternal. A whisper that may outlast our species, our world, perhaps even our galaxy. And in listening, we take part in something extraordinary. We become witnesses to the universe's grief. And perhaps, in that grief, we discover meaning not in survival, but in awareness. Chapter 3. Human fragility in the face of cosmic power. We live on a fragile blue world, wrapped in a thin blanket of air, floating in a vast darkness. For most of human history, this smallness was invisible to us. The horizon felt endless. The stars were lanterns in the sky, not suns billions of miles away. Cities, empires, and nations seemed huge, permanent, unshakable. But step back just a little and everything we know collapses into scale. A city is nothing. A continent is nothing. Even human history itself, stacked century upon century, is a spark compared to the fires of the universe. We live in a house of glass, standing beneath a storm that does not know we exist. And sometimes, the storm moves closer. The black hole that wanders Imogen, a black hole, silent and invisible, drifting through the galaxy. It has no star, no light, no orbit that binds it. A remnant of a dead sun. It roams like a predator without purpose. Now imagine it changing course toward us. At first, there would be no sign. Telescopes might catch the faint bending of starlight as the black hole passed between us and distant constellations. Astronomers might whisper warnings, but there would be nothing we could do. As it approached, its gravity would begin to tug at the solar system. The orbits of comets and asteroids would shift. Planets might drift. And then, one day, Earth itself would feel the pull. Tides would rise. Crusts would fracture. The moon's orbit would twist. Civilizations would watch the sky darken, not with fire, but with silence, a shadow without light. The universe does not need explosions to erase us. Sometimes, it only needs gravity. The burst of a dying star. Now, picture another fate, a gamma-ray burst. These are the most violent explosions the universe has ever known. When a massive star collapses, its death throes release beams of radiation so intense they can sterilize worlds from thousands of light years away. If Earth happened to lie in the path of one of these cosmic lances, there would be no warning. One moment, our skies would be calm. The next, the upper atmosphere would shatter. Ozone would vanish. The oceans would boil with ultraviolet fire. No missile defense, no bunker, no government could protect us. In seconds, the biosphere would collapse. The planet would still spin. The continents would still drift. But everything alive, everything that sings, breathes, or dreams, would be gone. And the terrifying truth, astronomers believe this has already happened countless times in the universe. The entire world's erased in silence, like candles blown out in an infinite night. The fragile clockwork of orbits, but destruction does not always come from sudden violence. Sometimes, it comes from slow, inevitable decay. Our solar system looks orderly. Planets circle the sun with precision, each orbit a rhythm that seems eternal. But chaos is written into these paths. Gravity is not gentle. Each planet tugs on the others. Jupiter pulls at Mars. Saturn pulls at Earth. Over millions of years, these tiny disturbances add up. It is possible that, one day, the careful balance will break. A planet may drift too far. A moon may crash into its world. Earth could be nudged into a new orbit closer to the sun, where the oceans evaporate, or farther away, where ice swallows continents. Even without violence, the clockwork of the heavens carries within it the seed of collapse. The stage we stand on was never stable. It was only borrowed time. The weight of knowing, but here is the greater terror, not the events themselves, but the knowledge of them. We live our lives building cities, writing books, raising children. We convince ourselves of permanence, yet in the background, we now know the truth. The universe does not care. If a black hole drifts our way, it will not stop. If a gamma ray burst is pointed at us, it will not look aside. If orbits unravel, they will not pause to consider our survival. This is the heart of what philosophers call cosmic horror, not the violence itself, but the indifference. We are not threatened because we are important. We are threatened because we are irrelevant. The scale of cars rushing, people working, conversations unfolding. From above, it feels infinite. Now, imagine watching that same city from orbit. The lights become a single glow. The noise becomes silence. The vastness of human activity shrinks into nothing more than a dot. Extend that view further beyond the solar system, beyond the galaxy. Earth itself fades. Humanity vanishes. Our wars, our art, our suffering, our triumphs all erased by distance. And yet, the universe goes on. Stars are born. Stars die. Galaxies collide. Planets form. Planets shatter. Whether we are here or not, the play continues. The terror of insignificance argued that destruction is not the greatest horror. After all, death is part of life. Planets, like people, are not eternal. The deeper horror lies in insignificance. If Earth ends, the universe will not remember. There will be no echo, no witness. Our legacy, no matter how vast we imagine it, could dissolve like smoke in an endless sky. This is the existential dread at the core of our place in the cosmos. Not that we will end, but that it will not matter. The fragile thread of meaning gand, yet we still tell stories, we still build, we still look up at the stars, not with despair, but with wonder. Perhaps this is our only defense. We cannot stop a black hole. We cannot block a gamma ray burst. We cannot reweave the fabric of orbital chaos. But we can refuse to let insignificance define us. Meaning may not come from the universe. Perhaps it comes from us choosing to live, to love, to create, even under the shadow of indifference. That is our quiet defiance, our fragile beauty. Chapter 4. The Echo of Legacy. When the Voyager probes left Earth in 1977, they carried more than instruments. Attached to their bodies was a message, the golden record, a phonograph, etched with images and sounds of our world. Greetings in dozens of languages, the laughter of children, the sound of waves breaking on a shore, a map pointing back to where we came from. It was a gift and a gamble. We sent whispers into infinity, hoping that someday, someone or something might hear them. It was an act of faith, rooted in the belief that legacy matters, that we matter. But here is the unsettling question. Can our messages survive in a universe that swallows even stars? The fragility of human monument civilizations have always sought permanence. The pyramids of Giza, standing against time and sand. The Great Wall, stretching across mountains. Languages carved into stone. Myths sung across generations. We build these things believing they will outlast us. Yet compared to cosmic time, they are fragile. Sand buries, weather erodes, earthquakes reduce towers to dust. Even languages once vibrant can vanish within centuries, leaving only unreadable marks on clay or parchment. In a few thousand years, perhaps our skyscrapers will crumble, our archives will rot, our satellites will decay and fall. Nothing we build is immune to entropy, and in a few billion years, even Earth itself will not survive. When the sun expands into a red giant, it will burn the continents, swallow the oceans, and leave only ash. What will our pyramids mean then? What will any of it mean? The eternal scales measure legacy on human scales. A family name passed down, a book remembered, a statue admired. But the universe operates on scales so vast that even mountains dissolve into nothing. Black holes consume stars, galaxies collide and merge. Radiation floods across billions of light years. Against this backdrop, the things we call permanent are only pauses, short breaths before silence. Legacy, then, is not truly about forever. It is about the illusion of forever. We build as if permanence exists, even though it does not. Voyager's whispered golden record is both beautiful and tragic because of this tension. It is fragile, just a disk of copper, coasting through the void. Time will scar it. Micrometeorites will scratch it. Cosmic rays will slowly erase its grooves. One day, it may be unreadable. One day, it may not exist at all. And yet, the act of sending it matters. Not because someone will hear it, but because we dared to speak. The record is a reflection of who we are. Beings who know we will die, but who choose to sing anyway. It is not survival in the literal sense. It is defiance. The cosmic archivod. Perhaps there is another kind of legacy, one not carved in stone or pressed into metal, but written directly into the fabric of the universe. When stars explode as supernova, they leave behind heavy elements: iron, gold, uranium that seed planets and bodies. Our bones, our blood, our cities, all built from the ashes of dead suns. When black holes collide, they send ripples through space-time itself. Gravitational waves that echo across the cosmos long after the event has ended. These are scars written into reality, proof that something happened, even if no one is there to witness it. In this sense, maybe humanity's truest legacy will not be our art, or our language, or even our machines. Maybe it will be the physical mark we leave, the radiation we emit, the orbits we disturb, the traces of energy and motion we add to the universe. We are part of the cosmic archive, whether we mean to be or not. The illusion of being remembered, and here lies the heart of the question. Is trying to be remembered simply a human illusion? We imagine permanence because our lives are short. We are desperate to leave something behind, so that we feel less like shadows and more like substance. But the universe does not remember in the way we hope. It does not keep our names. It does not preserve our monuments. If there is a record of us, it may be no more than faint ripples lost in the noise of creation and destruction. Is that legacy, or is it nothing? The philosophy of Erasmusism might see this as despair. If nothing lasts, why create at all? Why build? Why sing? But perhaps the opposite is true. If everything ends, then every act of creation becomes even more precious. A flower is beautiful not because it lasts, but because it does not. A song is moving not because it will echo forever, but because it fills a single moment with meaning. Maybe legacy is not about eternity. Maybe it is about intensity. The golden record may not last forever, but in the act of sending it, humanity revealed its deepest self. Fragile, temporary, yet still reaching out. The silence that waits imagine the far future. The stars have burned out. Black holes have evaporated. The universe is cold, dark, and nearly empty. In that silence, will there be any trace of us? Perhaps not. Perhaps even our gravitational scars will fade. Perhaps nothing we were will remain. And yet we were here. For a brief time, in a small corner of a galaxy, we looked up, we wondered, and we tried to leave a mark. The echo may not last forever, but the act of creating it, that mattered. To us, legacy is both real and illusory. On human scales, it comforts us. On cosmic scales, it dissolves. But maybe meaning does not require permanence. Maybe it requires only courage. The courage to build pyramids even when they will fall. To write books even when they will burn. To send golden records even when the void may never listen. Because legacy is not about being remembered forever. It is about saying, we were here, we lived, we loved, we dreamed. Even if the universe forgets, we remembered ourselves. Chapter 5. Between wonder and terror, choosing how we face the void. There is a silence in the night sky that we cannot escape. The stars shimmer, galaxies drift, black holes consume. And in the middle of it all, there is us, fragile, temporary, asking questions that the universe will never answer. How do we face this truth? Do we tremble before the void, or do we step into it with wonder? That is the paradox of being human, caught between terror and awe, between despair and meaning. Science as a lantern in the darkness for some. The answer begins with science. Not science as cold equations or numbers, but as a lantern, our attempt to push light into the shadows. We build telescopes to peer across billions of light years. We construct detectors to listen for the faintest ripples of spacetime. We send probes beyond our solar system, carrying whispers of who we are. Each act is more than curiosity. It is defiance. We know we are mortal. We know civilizations rise and fall. But through science, we carve meaning into the void. The Voyager golden record is fragile, yet it is also an act of transcendence. The Large Hadron Collider smashing particles is not just physics, it is us, clawing at the foundations of reality. LIGO's detection of gravitational waves is not just data, it is humanity listening to the universe mourn its dead stars. These are not small things. They are proof that, even in a cosmos that does not care, we can care. We can choose to see. We can choose to wonder. The comfort of creation. Think of art, of music, of stories. Think of a painting hanging on a wall, or a song played in an empty room. None of it is necessary for survival, and yet, it is necessary for meaning. Science and art are not opposites. They are twins, two ways of confronting mortality. Both say, we will not be silent. We will not pass unnoticed into the night. This is the hopeful vision. That meaning is not given to us, but made by us. That even if our traces vanish, the act of creating them matters. That in a universe destined for darkness, our brief sparks of light are enough. The bleak mirror, but there is another vision, a bleaker one. The universe is vast, but it is also indifferent. Stars will die, black holes will fade. Even protons, the building blocks of matter, may one day decay into nothing. In that far future, there will be no galaxies, no planets, no life, just silence, eternal and unbroken. From this perspective, all we do is swallowed. Every book, every city, every song gone. Every discovery, every triumph, every sacrifice forgotten. Even our whispers, sent on golden records, will be erased. The universe does not care. It cannot care. And maybe that is the deepest truth of all. The paradox of fragility, and yet here we are, fragile creatures who know we are fragile. Temporary beings who ask questions about eternity. No other life form, as far as we know, has done this. No other creature has looked up at the stars and wondered, not just what they are, but what it means. This is the paradox. Our weakness and our strength are the same thing. We are small, but we know we are small. We are doomed, but we refuse to stop searching for meaning. It may be that our destiny is not to survive forever, but to wonder while we live. To burn bright, even briefly, in a universe that will not remember. Between wonder and Turoso, which vision do we choose? Hopeful or bleak? The truth is, we cannot choose one without the other. Both are real, both are true. We are creatures of contradiction. We fear the void, yet we dream of it. We despair at our insignificance, yet we find beauty in it. We know we will vanish, yet we create as if we will last forever. Perhaps this is what makes us human, not the certainty of answers, but the courage to live with questions. A haunting freedom. If the universe will not give us meaning, then we are free to invent it. If there is no eternal record, then every moment we live is infinitely precious. We do not need eternity to matter. We need only now. This breath, this thought, this act of looking at the stars and daring to wonder. And maybe, just maybe, that is the greatest legacy of all. The universe does not promise survival. It does not promise remembrance. It offers only silence, only darkness. But in that silence, we sing. In that darkness, we light fires. In that indifference, we care. And perhaps that is enough. Perhaps our destiny is not survival, but to wonder till the very end. If these questions stir something in you, fear, wonder, or both, join me. Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more mysteries, and let's continue this journey into the beautiful horror of deep space.